Welcome, welcome,
Happy
welcome.
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. We are live. First time in 3 weeks. We've been
I
live
know.
again. This is the WOW Podcast, WOWW, Wendy's on Wellness Wednesday. We are coming to you live during this amazing, busy Christmas season. And next week, we forgot to talk about this before our show, Wendy.
We sure
But
did.
next week, we're going to come to you live for a one-time thing on Thursday. Because Wednesday is Christmas.
That's
And
right.
we want to continue the live trend here. That's what we prefer to do. And so we are going to be live, but next Wednesday. Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, yes.
After
Yes.
Christmas. But anyway, so my name is Dr. Wendy Sue Massey. I am an alternative medical practitioner. I am a holistic nutrition specialist, former retired registered nurse, ER and trauma for 20 years. I am a lover of Jesus, a wife, a mom,
Author.
author, thank you, author, and gardener and cook and all the things. And this is my amazing bestie, Wendy Flournoy.
Hi, guys. I'm Wendy Flournoy, certified hypnotherapist, herbal enthusiast, wife, mother, Gigi to 5. Number 6 is on the way. Lover of God and Jesus and all things natural and non-toxic.
Yay. And you look so festive today there with your tree in the background.
Thank you. I got snowflake earrings on.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed by you.
I mean, if it's going to be this time of year and it's not going to be, 78 and sunny, might as well be snowing.
Right. Agreed. I do agree with that for sure. So what have you been up to for the last 2 weeks since we
I have been busy with all the things holidays. I have made multiple bottles of vanilla extract as for gifts. Nice. I have made magnesium spray bottles for gifts. I have made peppermint foot scrubs for gifts, bath salts, because I love to mix the Epsom salt with the Dead Sea salt and things like that. So I've been making all the homemade gifts for presents and trying to get ready for the holidays but yet at a slow pace. Slow and steady.
Good for you.
I am so over the rushing and spending tons of money and because it's just not, I don't know. I love the funness for the babies and I love the toys for the grandkids and things like that. But my favorite part of the holiday is just having my people around.
Yeah.
And love,
Yeah. I agree. And that's, it's not about the rush and the hustle and bustle. Our society's made it that way. And you know what? I did a post last night on Facebook because it really did break my heart. I have been looking through my news feed and so many people, more than I've ever seen, are complaining about Christmas.
Really?
And that they don't feel like they're in the Christmas spirit. They don't have money. Their family isn't around.
Christmas isn't about money. I'm going to tell you what. That I agree with you because I remember reading your post now. That piece, that kind of peace only comes from one place.
Yes.
And it's that is from God above.
Yeah. The peace that passes all understanding, it is very real.
Yep.
And it only comes from him. Yep. So if you are listening to this and you are trying so hard to create peace and joy in an artificial way, in this artificial materialistic world, you're going to fail every time.
Yeah.
People are going to let you down. The money isn't always going to be there. The family, certain people aren't going to be able to be there. It's just, that's not.
We live in an imperfect world and imperfect things. And no amount of things is going to bring that peace or that joy.
That's right. So very important to stay focused on Christ this season. And I've needed it more than ever.
Same, girl. I told you before we started, the last few days, man, I've just been praying to God and asking him to just keep my eyes on him because I'm feeling so distracted by so many different things, and that's not where my attention needs to be.
Yeah, I am too. And it's some of it's very valid, good things. It's just, I feel like it's just constant distraction. And so it's really funny because I was sharing with you earlier. Every year I ask God to give me a word for the upcoming year. And every year it's pretty profound.
Yes.
And usually by early December, it's very clear to me what it is. This year
you always get yours before I do.
Yeah. This year's was breakthrough. And, I finally finished my PhD and, all these different things that came to be this year. And breakthrough looks very different to me now than it did at the beginning of the year and what I anticipated. But it's definitely been a breakthrough year in many ways. But this morning, clear as a bell, he finally gave me my word for 2025, and it was focus. It was focus. And it's so funny when I know I'm given that word, because it's like, it hits me upside the head so hard. And it's like, okay, this is where I'm lacking right now. And that's focus on him, focus on whatever my task is at that moment. Social media, stupid games on my phone, stressing out over, tasks at, even at church, anything. I get so overwhelmed that I lose focus.
Yeah.
So laser focus. That's so I'm grateful he gave me that word this morning. I know what it's going to be all about. And it's being focused on him. And it's, when you seek the kingdom first,
everything else falls into
place.
I'm still waiting on my word, Lord.
Yes. Lord, please give Wendy her word.
Wendy always gets hers before me. What is that about?
Do not covet, my friend. Now, I will say I'm super excited. Something that I have signed up for, Wendy's about to as well, that we are going to be a part of. We decided we are going to go to the, oh gosh, I don't remember the exact name of it, but it's a natural health conference. It's Seeking Whole Health. Is that what it is?
Yes. Seeking Whole Health in Wooster, Ohio.
Yeah, Wooster, Ohio. It's the first weekend in May. Our love, Joel Salatin, is going to be the keynote speaker. We're doing the VIP package. We're doing the whole 9 yards. We are going to be there. The people that are in charge of Christian Herbal Magazine put this on every year. And I've been dying to meet them because they are putting out a magazine of mine and Wendy's life.
You guys, if y'all have never heard of it, you can go to christianherbalmagazine.com.
Oh.
It is $45 for print. You get it 4 times a year. Amazing information. If you want digital only, I think it's 20 or 25. Yes. I don't know. I like to hold things, so I get print. But it is amazing
and worth keeping. Like, don't just throw it in your bathroom floor and leave it there. I mean, this is one of those that you want to, maybe put, 3-ring binder holes in it and stick it in a box.
Excellent resource.
I love it. And if you hear the $45 price tag and think, oh my gosh, that's so steep for 4 issues. No, it's not.
I'm gonna tell you what,
I'm
very tight. We are very thrifty girls.
Yes, we are.
I have I did not hesitate. I always will try something. I did not hesitate to renew my subscription.
Same.
Because it is that valuable.
Oh yeah, same. It's so good. So I'm very excited. We are going to be at that conference first weekend in May. Get to meet Joel Salatin, get to meet these ladies that put together this magazine. And it should be several days of just so much information. I cannot wait. That's something very exciting to look forward to.
Very exciting.
This coming year that Wendy and I are going to do together. Unfortunately, our wellness day at New Kent Christian center that was canceled for January. They're doing some renovation in that church. And so they've said that hopefully they're going to reschedule in the spring or sometime later.
Yes.
So we will keep y'all posted. But we were very disappointed because we knew we had a lot of people that were planning on coming to that.
Yeah, very sad. But, you know, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
God's
God has
got
other
plans, and hopefully things will happen when it's a better time. And and now we have Wooster, Ohio to look forward to.
Yes, we do. So excited about that. That's going to be amazing. And I just got back Friday night.
Tell me all about how much the babies have grown.
Oh my gosh. Insane. Carter is running around everywhere.
Oh my
he
gosh.
wasn't even hardly taking. He had taken his first steps, but he's a big boy. So he wasn't confident enough in his movement to do more than a step or two, even as recently as when I got there, 2 weeks ago. By the time I left, little dude was walking all around. I mean,
it don't take him long.
Yes.
It definitely don't take him long.
So he's doing amazing. He's and my sweet granddaughter, who I can't wait to share with the world. She's foster and prayerfully.
I just want to know, was she the star of the play?
Okay, let me tell you what happened. Our little angel. Oh my goodness.
She's a little sassy thing.
She is. I'm going to have to share with you the 2 videos. So her practices, she was the star, bouncing around, knew every word, dancing harder than everybody. Like she's the one who's going to be TikTok famous. You know what I mean? Like she's up there, got all the sassy moves and all this stuff. Just absolutely killed it. So we get her there that night, and keep in mind she's 2 months shy of 2.5 months shy of being 3. So she's little. And she's also very petite at her age too. Her and Carter are the same size.
She's got big personality.
Oh my goodness. So we get there to her Mom's Day Out program, and she's like, why are you bringing me at night? And why is my entire family here? And you're dropping me off and I'm not hanging with y'all. She was not having it.
Oh, that's funny.
So we could heur her screaming all the way down the hall. She was so upset. So, but by the time she comes out, and mind you, there's 500 people at this performance.
Wow.
So when she walks in, she's all smiles, holding hands with other little girls, walking in until she saw us. She broke free, ran over to us, started screaming. The teachers grabbed her. And now the entire performance, she sat on the edge of the stage crying.
Oh,
except when this one song had them jump. She jumped up, jump, and sat back down. And then in the same song, she jumped up because there was a place where it stopped. She stopped, sat back down. And just, I mean, she still stole the show, but it was not the way intended.
Oh my goodness. I would have been laughing so hard I wouldn't have been able to breathe.
It was precious. It was precious. But yes, she was like, I do not want to be with these people. I want to be with my family. What is happening? So bless her heart. It was
especially if she's looking at y'all and seeing you. That's so funny.
Yeah. And her Uncle Todd, which is Kyle's brother, he brought her flowers. The pictures of her with her first flowers from her first performance.
Oh,
so precious. So anyway, yes, it was a wonderful trip. I am still exhausted. Right. I still have not gotten my sleep schedule straight because when I'm there, I'm all GG during the day. And then I do my work at night, which you all know, we've talked on here about sleep. Yeah. I always am so good about keeping to my sleep routine. I haven't even gotten it back yet, y'all. I can't get myself together.
We were talking about that before we actually went live, and both of us have been having some sleep issues here lately. Yeah. And I think it's just the season where we have to remind ourselves too that we need to stay on a semi, good sleep schedule and things like that. I told Wendy, I've been going to bed, but I'll sleep a good couple of hours and be awake for an hour or so. And then I'll sleep another good couple of hours. Yeah. And then it's like, I don't want to get up. I want to sleep more.
Well, I need to force myself back into my routine. What I am experiencing right now is proof positive of what we were talking about. And that routine is so imperative, because I can tell you, I was still on my computer last night at 11 o'clock. Yeah. And I have been so good prior to my trip of shutting down at 8 o'clock, no matter where I am, shutting it down at 8 o'clock. And you know what? Not even doing anything I need to do. You know, I mean, it's like, I will be for a while, but I'll start going down rabbit holes of things that is not needing to keep me up.
Distractions. That's what I was talking about with me. That's what's happening with me is the distractions. And you get to a point where you're almost just spinning your wheels, and you're not going anywhere. You're not really doing anything. Right. But it's so easy, I think, to get distracted and off course and off routine. And we just got to bring ourselves back, remember that we have good things in place, and go back to them. Yes. Yeah. 100%. So that's going to be, I am rededicating myself to my. That's right. And, everybody we should all be like that. Don't be afraid. Don't be embarrassed. If you get off track or on whatever, just come back and start over. You're not behind. Just pick up where you were and keep on going as many times as you need to.
Yeah. And you know what? This is a perfect example of, I have people that I tell this all the time. And this is actually one of the things I have to say that I pride myself in. I'm very authentic with my clients. Yes. My clients always tell me how much they appreciate that, when I'm having sugar cravings, when I'm having,
we got to be real, because we're real too.
We're human. Yeah. We experience, one of the reasons why we do so well at what we do is because we've lived it. Yep. If somebody comes in and has never struggled with anything in life with their health or their weight or, their sleep or anything, and then are going to tell me how to do better, I don't have a problem with that, because they've never really lived it. Well, I can promise you I've lived it all. That's one of the things I always tell my clients. I'm like, and right now I'm feeling disheveled and uprooted, and I have got to get refocused. And just like everybody else, it's hard to take that first step. It's hard for me to jump back into my routine. So now I just have to make myself, I have to dedicate
you just have to do it. Because I think we're all the same way. We all live life. Yeah. We all have those distractions. We all get off track sometimes. The important thing is to come back.
Yes, exactly.
Keep going.
Yeah. And that's what living a healthy lifestyle is all about. We're always going to have things that are going to create distractions. Yep. We always will, whether it be the holidays, whether it be, some
a family emergency or whatever, a trip, there's so many things that can throw you off that the best thing for you to do is learn how to be prepared to the best of your ability. And sometimes we can't always be prepared for unexpected things, but don't beat yourself up if you get off track. Just recognize and come back, because I think that every time that you take the time to recognize, acknowledge, you do come back.
You do.
You're not going to do anybody any good by beating yourself up and staying over here feeling ashamed in the corner or embarrassed or anything like that, because we all fall.
We all do.
We all fall.
Yep. Absolutely. So one of the things that has been, if anybody's followed me for the last couple of weeks, that's been a hot topic for me has been all things sugar. And
'tis the season.
We talk about this every year, but my daughter and I started off down this rabbit hole because she, for all the things, Kirsty's, she doesn't do gluten-free. She doesn't do all the things. She makes her own sourdough. She does very well considering, what she's doing. She feeds the kids healthy, all that kind of stuff. But, so she's constantly trying, and she's in her early 30s, where she is in her early 30s is worlds ahead where I was in my early 30s.
Absolutely.
So she's reading labels. She's looking at things. And so she happened to read we were talking about sugars. She didn't realize how bad the white granulated sugar is. And for anybody who doesn't know, I mean, white granulated sugar is so heavily processed, and you don't know what you're getting.
Nope.
You don't know if it's sugar cane. You don't know if it's beet sugar. And we're not talking like the little red beets we eat. Sugar beets they were never designed to be food. They were designed to be an aeration material for farmers. I had a farmer when I lived in
kind of like soy, right?
Kind of like
soy. Start off as something like that too.
Yeah. So sugar beets have a huge taproot, and farmers plant them originally to create that. When they chop them up, it aerates the ground amazing, because there's so much mass to them that it creates this it breaks up the ground, so that and they plant it in the fall, have it over the winter time, and then in the spring it would just have this huge impact on the soil and in breaking it up. So then when they go to chop up the ground, it's well aerated. So this was the original purpose of these beets. Well, somewhere along the way, they figured out they could, utilize them, highly process them, and turn it into sugar. This is not, neither of these, even cane sugar that's been heavily processed, is not good sugar at all. So anyway, my daughter and I start talking about it, and I start telling her what I thought I knew about brown sugar. I had no idea, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I know what the original purpose, the original form of brown sugar was. And that was less processed sugar, because it was not extracting the molasses from cane sugar, which is why it was brown.
Makes sense.
So I'm assuming that that's, still the case. And I'm like, well, if you're choosing a sugar and you need a cane sugar, that the brown sugars are usually better and everything. And I start doing research, and I'm like, false. And it's happened right under our noses.
It sure has.
So that is what the original
brown sugar
was.
Not anymore.
Yeah, they don't have to mark that anything has changed, but what you will notice now is you need to make sure you are getting unrefined organic if you are getting brown sugar. There's still better options, but let's just talk the brown sugar. So unrefined and organic, because if you don't, flip it over and look at the ingredients. It should say organic brown sugar. Most of the brown sugars out there say sugar, or might even say cane sugar. I don't remember. But anyway, it says sugar and molasses. That is because they are taking your white granulated crappy sugar and adding the molasses back in. And that is not good. That is not good. So anyway, so that's where our deep dive into sugars started. And so I wanted to put out what the best sugar options are. But before we even get there, how about how everybody calls this flu season? Okay, let's think about this. We started Halloween, okay, gorging on candy. And then we head into the comfort food season with all of the stuff at Thanksgiving. Yep. And then we have Christmas cookies and holiday cocktails. And then,
every gathering, there's always a bunch of Christmas goodies.
Exactly. And then we finish it off with, another celebratory holiday at New Year's, where we get sloshed, we as in, whoever is
whoever is partaking in
right. So yes, it's the flu season, because we are destroying our immune systems. We do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, sugar is not meant to be consumed in large amounts. I absolutely will never tell you to avoid it forever, because it needs to be consumed. It doesn't need to be consumed, but if you're going to have a lifestyle that is sustainable, you need to know that things like that are available to you in for certain events, for certain
Yes.
times.
And every week
So,
is not that certain time or certain
no,
event.
every day is not
Not
an
even
event.
once a week.
No. And it cracked me up because I always love to look at what the World Health Organization and the USDA says, just out of curiosity.
I'm
And
sorry.
I shook my head because their health recommendations are no more than 6 teaspoons a day. Holy cow. If you are eating 6 teaspoons a day, you are eating way too much added sugar. Your normal added sugar intake should be 0 for a normal day. Now, that is something that some of you may have to work to. You know, the standard American diet, it's cups of sugar that everybody's eating a day.
If you, I will tell you, this has been my experience too. The longer I don't have sugar, the more I don't want it.
So, oh yeah.
But as soon as I have sugar, I want it more.
Yeah.
So that just was a mind-blowing thing for me to realize how easily addictive the sugar is, how easily you can get, it's just like a drug. You get pulled right, as soon as you have some, you get pulled right back in to wanting more.
It does the same thing to our brains
as drugs,
to the pleasure center in the hippocampus of our brain. We get this big dopamine rush. It does the same thing that cocaine does. Yep. And because it's so readily available, it is actually a worse addiction than cocaine.
Yep.
So, you know, what you're experiencing is very real, Wendy. I mean, and that's, and I have too. I always tell my clients, because they'll be like, oh my gosh, I just have all these cravings. My very first question is, how much sugar are you still eating? Because the cravings go away. The cravings go away. Yep. And you know what? If you're somebody that thinks you need, you know, half a cup of sugar in your daggone coffee in the morning, start backing it off.
I was going to say, drink something else. Yeah. If you need that much sugar in your coffee, drink something else.
Right. But, you know, you can decrease that and you will be shocked that your taste buds will change and you will not be able to tolerate it. I mean, there are low sugar options for creamers out there that are clean that I have tried that turn my mouth inside out because I can't stand how sweet they are. And I used to love a Starbucks, you know, vanilla.
Girl, I know my friend of mine asked me the other day if I wanted a Starbucks. And I'm like, oh, I can't drink that stuff. I'm such a coffee snob. If it's not low acid organic, I have a hard time drinking it.
Yeah.
I can drink, if it's not low acid, I can drink it, but it has to be organic now, because now it's like I can taste the chemicals in the coffee. It doesn't matter if it's Starbucks, Wawa, 7-Eleven, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh,
I can taste it. And it's just not, it has turned me off from even trying to get an outside cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Except for like that place we had dinner. Like a, you know, a clean organic restaurant.
That was good.
Then yeah, I'll have it.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
But I also noticed that when you're eating clean, and maybe you fall off the tracks, because Lord knows I have many times. And when I'm eating clean, I taste things more.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas when I'm not eating clean, all I taste is the sugars and things like that. You know?
Well, think about it, because if you're not eating, all right, the fourth most common ingredient in the United States in our foods, behind sugar, water, and salt, is natural flavors. What are natural flavors designed to do? They are designed to affect your taste buds and create you coming back for more. So you are being tricked when you're not eating clean to, you know, make your taste buds think that you need more of whatever those foods are. So it's a chemical reaction happening in your mouth. So yes, we don't taste things the same way when you're not eating clean. When you're eating clean, you're finding out what food really tastes like, and it's pretty darn awesome.
And I think the longer that you do it, and then if you have a slip and taste something not clean, it does not taste as good as you thought it did before.
Nope.
It really doesn't. Because
You're
I'm
exactly
like,
right.
that has blown me away on some things too. Because I'm like, this is not good.
No, I did that. I remember it was probably 8-9 years ago now. I had been eating clean for 2-3 years at this point. And I used to be a Twinkie fan. I mean, like, love me some Hostess cupcakes, Twinkies,
I've
all the
never
things.
been a Twinkie fan.
Oh man, I thought Twinkies were awesome. That and the little
Give me the ho ho
sticks. Oh yeah, those donut sticks. And it was like 8-9 years ago, and somebody brought in a whole big basket of all those kinds of things into the ER because they think that nurses need to be fatter than we already are, and
because they're trying to do something nice, and that's
they
what they
are,
know.
and so appreciate it. But you want to do something nice, y'all, for your nurses? Take them fruit. Take them a fruit basket because everybody brings us donuts and stuff.
Take them a bag of organic coffee beans.
There you go. There you go. But anyway, so somebody brought in all these things, and I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna have one of these. I was working night shift at the time. I was beat, and I was like, let me get a sugar rush. I was disgusted. Over all I could taste was the chemicals. And I said, how did I used to love these?
Yep.
And it was absolutely disgusting. So, I mean, yes, your tastes do change. But the thing with sugar, first of all the processed sugars are completely void of any nutrients. And we'll talk about which sugars are better than not. But you're going to get, not only are they void of nutrients, but they also block nutrients from being absorbed in your body. So when you are taking in too much sugar, you are creating an attack on your immune system. Wow. This is why this time of year, especially, because a lot of people that maybe they eat healthy all year, but this time of year, they're like, oh, whatever, I'm going to eat all the pies, all the cakes, all the cookies, all the things. And they're taking in more sugar than they're accustomed to. And it makes a massive difference. It blocks
kills your immune system.
Yes. The sugar will block the uptake of vitamin C, vitamin D3, potassium, and magnesium.
Wow.
All these things that you have to have a healthy immune system. These are the things I'm forever telling people, do high dose vitamin C, do high dose vitamin C. Don't even bother if you're eating like crap. And I mean, I'm just being real. You are wasting.
Well, then you're fighting while you're trying to combat, and you're going nowhere.
Yeah. And I've said that for years too on supplements. You always have people, and we're going to talk about the quick fix stuff when later, and then also next week. But you always have people that want to just take supplements for good health. I get messages constantly about, hey, what supplement is good for this? What supplement is good for that? And don't get me wrong, I always, am happy to respond and all that stuff. But here's the bottom line. If you do not have a healthy gut microbiome, if you are feeding your gut a bunch of junk, a bunch of processed foods, those supplements are a waste of money.
Yep.
Waste of money.
Yep.
So you have
I kind of feel like that about the herbal remedies too.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's like everything that you're doing has to fight so much harder to work and fix things if you're not eating correctly.
Yeah. Well,
so it's gonna take twice as long if it works.
Yeah.
Because you're pushing everything down with all the junk you're eating.
Yes. Yes. And when you have high blood sugar, when you are fighting against, when you're not giving your body the nutrients it needs or are preventing your body from being able to take it in, you are going to be sick. You're going to get sicker. You're going to create inflammation. When you take in excess sugar, you're creating an inflammatory process in your body. It weakens your immune defenses. Our little army men that are in our body ready to fight, they need to be fueled properly. And when they work really, really great.
That's right.
And that's why, not to bring up a controversial topic, but the reality is most people, yes, everybody knows somebody, but most people who really struggled during COVID or even died during COVID were very unhealthy. And it's because they didn't have a good, healthy base in their body to be able to fight. The majority of us had zero problems fighting. Might we have gotten sick because our bodies weren't used to a certain germ? Yep.
Sure.
But we didn't struggle like people who just, eat tons of processed foods, eat high sugar, are diabetics, all the other things that affect your immune system. So keeping a good, strong immune system is so important, and minimizing your sugar is a big part of that. I mentioned earlier that my recommendation is 0 added sugar a day. That's not hard to do. Nope. If you're eating whole foods.
That's right. Real food.
If you're eating real food, you're not eating packaged stuff that contains sugars. It is not hard to do. If you are somebody that needs to add sugar to your tea or to your coffee, start to cut it with a good sugar alternative. And we'll talk about that as well. Like, an unblended monk fruit, a natural stevia, cut it with that and shift over to that at least, so that you can get the added sugars out of your system.
And let me just clarify, because I know Wendy, she's not saying that you have to throw out your sugar immediately. She's recommending that you cut back your sugar and replace it with something else if you need it.
Right.
I would say cut back first and see how you do.
Yeah.
I never was a black coffee drinker. I love my coffee black now.
Yeah.
That's the only way I like to drink it, unless I want a little treat by adding some cinnamon or coconut milk or something.
Well, and that's just it. When I have a coffee that is a sweet coffee to me now.
Yeah.
It's coconut milk and cinnamon, maybe some vanilla extract or some peppermint extract. And that is all the sweetness I need. And and when I tell you, it's not like I was a black coffee drinker forever. No, I loved my coffee make creamers just as much as everybody else. My peppermint mocha and all that stuff.
That daggone, what was it? Sweet cream. I think it was sweet cream. I had a heck of, that was like the last thing I gave up. That thing was so hard to let go.
Yeah. But now you couldn't pay me to drink anything like that because it's gross. And it's just because my tastes have changed. But so there's one exception to that. If you take raw, local, unfiltered honey for medicinal purposes, which I do during, high allergy seasons and stuff like that, you can get away with a very little bit. I used to think I needed a tablespoon a day. No, you don't. I get away with a half a
teaspoon every morning, mixed with my turmeric and ginger and cayenne and black pepper.
Yeah.
Especially on these nights that I'm not sleeping well, I'll take a whole teaspoon, not tablespoon, a whole teaspoon of that in the morning, just to give me a boost. Because when I don't get enough sleep is typically when I get sick.
Yeah. Yeah. And sleep is a big part of keeping our immune systems up too. I get away with half a teaspoon when I'm talking about, like during seasonal allergies.
Yeah. Half a teaspoon of honey is a lot, actually.
And I do just fine. Fine. So, if I need that and if I'm working with somebody that I know needs that on a regular basis, I don't even count that. Yes. Right. When we're looking at their carb levels and all that, we have to count it, but I don't count that as being an added sugar we need to give up. But all the others, on a daily basis. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have your occasional treat. And then there are better options. Use if you use the maple, date, coconut sugars, those are all great options.
Yeah.
Honey, you can bake with honey and maple syrup. Of course, you always want to go organic on those. There are some cane sugars that are decent, that are, less processed. And I had them in my thing. I'm not familiar with them as much because I've never bought them, but I had them in my post about this. But panela, succonaut, evaporated cane juice, and whole cane sugar. Those are, the panela is apparently one that's very, very popular in Mexican cuisine. And I was looking it up, and it's very easy to find online. I would imagine in a lot of the Hispanic sections, like in the grocery stores that have really good Hispanic sections and Hispanic baking sections, you can probably find it there. But they are less processed than our standard cane sugars.
I've found that between the date sugar and the coconut sugar, those are great alternatives.
Yeah. And they're expensive, but you know what? If you're using them like you're supposed to,
you're not using it every day, right? Exactly.
Right, which is infrequent, then you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
I will say I was very interested to see. I get a lot of questions about turbinado, like sugar in the raw.
Right.
And I always thought that was, relatively okay, and it is better than your granulated, processed white sugar, except they are saying that this is very much, it's taken on the same turn as the brown sugars, and they don't have to mark it. So you don't know if in the turbinado sugar, if you are getting an actual less processed sugar, or if you are getting a processed sugar with the molasses added back in with that also.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. So don't assume that your sugar in the raw is really all that raw.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
Well, I'll tell you, for people that want to make their own brown sugar, I commented on your post about it. If you're buying organic coconut sugar, you can add your own molasses and make brown sugar as light or as dark as you want. You keep that thing in a jar and it's not going to go hard on you.
Yep. And I think I heard, and you tell me how you're doing it, but I think I heard the ratio of 1 tablespoon of molasses to a cup of coconut sugar. Does that sound right?
No, I don't measure anything. I put that sugar in a jar like this, probably half full, and then just sat there with the molasses and stirred it up till I got it to where I wanted.
That's perfect. I don't even know why I asked you. You cook just like I do. That's so funny.
I would say just eyeball it depending on what you want.
Yeah.
Because a little molasses does go a long way.
Yeah. A couple of things to note about that. Any molasses, I'm sure, is fine. You're always going to find some that are better than others. You want to go organic, but blackstrap molasses actually retains more of the nutrients. It's actually a better source of potassium than any form of sugar.
It's a lot stronger. In my opinion, it's a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I used to years ago, but when I was first on this lifestyle and trying to phase out my sugar in my coffee, I was putting blackstrap molasses in my coffee.
I remember that. I remember we were doing that.
Yep. And it was good. But but yeah, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Also, when you are looking at ingredients and it just says sugar, especially if it's not organic, but if it just says sugar, if it doesn't specify cane, if it doesn't specify coconut, if it doesn't specify, it is just about guaranteed to be the beet sugar.
Yep.
Okay. They don't have to tell you that. Nope. If all it says is sugar, assume the worst. Yep. Okay. And it can be any amount of combination of.
That's right. When in doubt, throw it out.
Yeah. But it's going to be the highly processed sugar either way. Even if it's cane, it's going to be the highly processed sugar if it's in a packaged food and doesn't specify. Also, I get a lot of questions about agave, because agave has been marketed as a health food and
as natural.
Yeah. It's been marketed as a healthy alternative. Yeah. That is so false. I know, like Skinny Girl, like back when we were drinking those Skinny Girl margaritas and all that stuff, that's what she uses to sweeten her stuff. Yes, it's low calorie. No, it is horrible for you. It is not a healthier alternative. It's highly processed. It strips away all the nutrients. And it has a higher glycemic index than table sugar. So it is not good for your diabetes management. A lot of people shift over to agave for that purpose, and it is not good. It is not good at all.
I did not know that. That's wow.
Yeah. So I guess the only other thing to talk about with the sugars is the sugar alternatives. Yeah, because we get a lot of questions about that too. So with sugar alternatives, the three main ones we'll talk about are monk fruit, stevia, and allulose. So monk fruit is my favorite. First of all, I'm really trying to get in the habit of not calling them sugar alcohols, because I used to always call them sugar alcohols because that's what they were blended with. Okay. Yeah. When you buy a blended version, my old favorite brand was Lecanto of the monk fruit. I do not use it anymore. There's been so many studies that have come out in the last 2 years about the effects of erythritol, xylitol, the alls, okay, the sugar alcohols that they mix these things with, and their effect on cardiac inflammation, especially in people that are replacing one for the other. So if you are trying to use these products to simply replace your standard American diet version of sugar, you are creating yourself a lot of potential issues. Sure, you might be reducing your sugar intake, but you are creating.
You're just trading one problem for another.
Yeah. Yeah. So the sugar alcohols shouldn't be consumed, at all, in my opinion. They have a medicinal value. Xylitol, like I'm using for this time of year when I get stuffy nose and all that kind of stuff, I'm using a nasal spray that actually has xylitol in it. And it is intended to be really good to help clear out your sinus cavities and help boost your immune system. So it does have medicinal value. It's also naturally occurring in some plants. The problem is these that you're finding in these blended sugars are chemically created. They are synthetic. They are not the naturally occurring sugar alcohols. So avoid the blended ones, period.
Right.
So monk fruit does have unblended versions. I've never seen them in my grocery store. Doesn't mean that they don't exist in somebody's grocery store. Mm-hmm. I've found tons of them on Amazon. So they do exist on Amazon, unblended. You want to find organic, unblended, everything you buy on Amazon, just about. And if it doesn't, you don't buy it. You can flip through the pictures and look at the ingredients. Every once in a while, you'll see somebody that doesn't have the ingredients, and then we ain't going there. But but if you see the ingredients and it's just the organic monk fruit or organic, what's the official word, lung cow or something like that? It's got some Asian name. But anyway, that is what you want. That is what you want. Monk fruit is not absorbed in the intestines, so it doesn't have the same impact that sugar does. It doesn't have the calorie effect. It doesn't have the carb effect. It doesn't have the sugar effect. However, you will still get sweet cravings. So I encourage people, use this if you're diabetic and you are trying to shift to a sugar-free lifestyle. Use it as a tool. Don't use it in everyday, tons of baking, all that kind of stuff, because we really should be shifting away from that and getting more of your sweetness from fruit, and natural sources. But it has its place. If you're baking something, or if you are a heavy sugar person in your tea or coffee and you're trying to shift, that's a great alternative to use instead. Another one is stevia. Stevia, same thing. It doesn't absorb in your gut, so you don't have the same effect that sugar does, and it's a natural leaf. Wendy,
I would tell you too that not all stevia is created equal,
right?
Because they are now man-making stevia.
Oh yeah.
My best suggestion is to get you one of these.
I love it.
This is a stevia plant. One leaf is probably 100 times stronger than sugar.
Yeah.
I was telling Wendy earlier before we started that even a half a leaf of half of a leaf of a very small leaf will make this cup extra sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So a little tiny bit goes a long way, and all you have to do is pick the leaf and throw it into whatever you want to sweeten.
Yeah.
If you want to dry them and then crumble them up and keep them, a little tiny bit goes a very long way. That's the only way I use stevia is by the actual leaves, just because so much processing happens with the altered stevias in the stores and the drops. And I found that the stuff in the stores, the powder and the drops and things, always left a aftertaste in my mouth that I just didn't like. The leaf doesn't do that. I am going to experiment making an extract, stevia extract, to see how that does, because I have never bought stevia extract to try it. I'm going to try making some and see how it does. But
good.
I always keep a plant and just pull the leaves as needed.
Yeah.
I don't always need them.
Yeah.
And typically I end up using my leaves for somebody else's blended tea to make it sweet.
Sure. And the thing is that if you were to attempt to use fresh leaves, dry them out, grind them up, and put them, do like a 1-to-1 replacement with sugar, it can become toxic because you don't need that much. And it's not
a 1-to-1 trade-off, because stevia is 100 to 200 times sweeter than sugar.
Yeah. It's not intended to be that.
No.
It can be toxic on your kidneys if you use too much. But by too much, it's like you would have to use a lot. The extracts are supposed to be purifying it so that that's not the case. But again, you're going to need very little. So I can't wait to hear how you do with the extract.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be exciting to check out.
I had somebody ask me how I would do an extract with that, and I recommended the organic ocean vodka.
Yes, that's all I use now, because it's the only certified organic vodka I can find in Richmond right now.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive, but I think I need to travel somewhere that has more options, because I would love to have a higher proof vodka for other things. That's certified organic.
Yeah. For sure.
And I found a couple online, but you have to go through, to buy alcohol online like that in a high proof, you have to go through so much red tape.
Oh, sure. No doubt.
That it's probably just worth it for me to drive to another state.
Yeah. No doubt. So the last sugar alternative I wanted to mention that's become very, very popular, and I want to love it, but as per usual, the processing is turned me off from it. But it's allulose. Allulose is supposed to have very little effects on our guts. It's supposed to be very, really, in theory, it would be a great sugar alternative. Here's the problem. It is extracted from figs, raisins, corn are the 3 most common places.
We all know corn.
What I was going to say, in our country, with the mass production of genetically modified corn, where do you think they're getting it from?
Yep.
That's what's cheaper. And they don't have to specify where it's coming from. So I will not recommend it, because they don't have to specify it. If you absolutely had to use allulose for some weird reason, you need to make sure it's an organic, non-GMO. Because at least then hopefully you're getting one that's not from genetically modified corn. But it's just about anything in this.
Things, it was figs, dates, and corn.
Figs, raisins, and corn.
Raisins, and corn.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and let me see if there was something else where it came from. I'm pretty sure that was it. It was.
I actually never heard of allulose.
Oh yeah.
Is that something that they're adding to prepackaged food and stuff too?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And you can buy it, like you can monk fruit, you can buy the powder. I've seen it. I've never purchased it because I've always been suspect of it.
Right.
But
always trust your gut.
Yeah. And sure, it is. It's just figs, raisins, and corn.
Wow.
It doesn't cause the stomach upset, and it's gut friendly. So it sounds great in theory, but there's no way I'm going to recommend anything that is likely coming from genetically modified corn. I'm just not.
Okay, so when on the rare occasion that you're doing some sweet treats or something, what's your go-to?
My go-to, because I use them so infrequently, is to stick to organic maple, organic coconut sugar, dates, those type of things, because I don't have them often enough to be worried about the carb count,
Yeah, because I'm really impressed with the organic coconut sugar.
Oh yeah.
And the date sugars is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
They have different textures and different tastes.
Yeah.
But both of I haven't found yet that I can't do any other thing with one or the other of those.
Right. And I suspect I test my clients for inflammatory reactions to the sugar alternatives, because a lot of people do have inflammatory, well, not a lot, a fair number of people have inflammatory reactions to the sugar alternatives.
Yeah.
So, and I get a mild headache. So it's like, why am I going to bother the little bit of time that I make something sweet? The rare occasions I make something sweet, I'm just going to use, the actual natural sugar sources, and I'm totally fine with that. So, yeah.
I love using organic maple syrup for stuff too, because it really gives it an extra something.
It does. It gives it a great flavor. So anyway, hope this helps with you guys just having some different ideas of things to use. But the biggest thing is, during this season, let me tell you some of my tips. I didn't bring this up. These are the things I tell my clients. Freeze what you're making. I just pulled out Sunday.
That's right.
2 partial pies from Thanksgiving, because we had what we wanted on Thanksgiving. I wrapped them up really good and I put them in the freezer. And on Sunday, our friends came over for the football game and I pulled them out and we had a piece of pie, and I wrapped them back up and I put them back in the freezer, and they were just as good as they were on Thanksgiving. Yep. So, use the freezer to keep them out of your face, because out of sight, out of mind. That's also, right. It takes work. You have to pull them out of the freezer and allow them to thaw. So you're not going to just react to your, oh gosh, I've got a craving. Let me grab those Oreos out of the cabinet, or let me go in the.
Don't have the Oreos in the cabinet.
Right. Don't have them in the cabinet at all. But you know what I mean? Or let me have the cookie jar filled, because every time you walk in the kitchen, what are you going to do? You're going to open up that cookie jar.
You're going to grab one every time you walk through.
Yep. And so don't do that. All your sweet treats, keep in the freezer. I do have a hack I always teach people. When you're making something that you're worried is going to stick to each other when it's frozen, put them on a parchment lined pan, separated. Don't let them touch each other. Put them in the freezer. After you've frozen them for 2 or 3 hours, you can throw all of them, whether it be fat bombs, whether it be fudge, whether it be cookies, whatever.
Then
throw them in a bag and they won't stick together.
That's right.
So you can reach in that bag, you open your freezer, reach in that bag, grab out one. You don't have to thaw out the whole bag.
That's right.
And then you sit it out on the counter until it's ready for you to eat. So if you do things like that, you actually have to give it thought that I am about to consume some sugar. Instead of, it's very easy if something is right there accessible, in front of you, to do it mindlessly. And you want to avoid the mindless.
Or that one treat ends up being the whole bag of chips, or that one treat ends up being 8 cookies, or that one treat ends up being 3 handfuls of whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And trust me, I understand mindless eating. We said at the beginning that we, that we're real humans. We go through that. That's one of the
Yeah,
reasons
girl.
we
Some
are not.
days I can even crush a whole clean bag of chips.
Yes. Well, that's why we don't buy them. When we know
That's
we're going
why
to have.
I don't keep them in the house, because it happens.
Yes. And I'm not freezing Siete chips. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? So I need to keep them out of the house.
Yes.
We buy them when we know it's a special occasion. We have friends over. We're gonna make
You
a
got
big
me hooked
pan
on those lime ones.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. But if we're gonna make a big pan of nachos or something like that, we will buy them for that purpose. But we don't keep them in the pantry just to have them.
Can't.
Nope. You can bet Wendy Sue's gonna tear them up.
Me too. So so's this Wendy.
So, and also keep things in your freezer because you'll know they're there. It'll be so much easier for you to say no to the donut at the office.
Yes.
If you know that when you come home, you can have something sweet.
That's right.
It's going to be so much easier to avoid the big tray of cookies at church. When you're with the ladies at church, if when you come home, you've got sweet treats in your freezer, you can say no thank you a whole lot easier.
Yourself for not engaging in earlier. You can reward yourself later at home with something that's good for you.
Sure. That's a whole lot healthier, a much healthier option. And also that actually brings me to my last big hack is keeping things that are sweet but healthy for you. The unsweetened coconut yogurts. I am so in love with Coco June brand yogurt, and more stores are getting them. I get mine in big tubs at Sprouts, and I know that's not everywhere, but more and more stores are carrying Coco June. Look it up on their website and see if they have
the brand that Misfit Market's carrying now.
Oh, I don't know. They might be.
I've just been recently getting unsweetened organic coconut yogurt from Misfit in a big container.
Okay. Well, it might be. It might be. But this, if you keep unsweetened the coconut yogurt in your house and some berries, you can ward off sweet cravings doing that. If you need the chocolate, throw in some cacao nibs or break up a piece of dark chocolate or something like that.
Pumpkin seeds in there.
Yeah, exactly. You won't have those sweet cravings anymore. So keep healthy stuff like that on hand that can really, really help. Drink herbal tea.
Fruit on hand, I think, helps me a whole lot.
Yeah.
If I have multiple choices of fruit in the house, that takes care of my sweet craving right off.
Yep. And just know that if you're really trying to battle a sugar addiction, don't give in. Do the fruit, do things like that, because when you give in, it's just like we were saying, it's equivalent to a drug. When you give in, you are having to start that process all over again.
Every time you give in, you have to start over.
Yeah. So avoid it. You will break the cycle. I promise you. So many of my clients are blown away that come in that are major sugar addicts. And oftentimes after the first week, they're like, oh my gosh.
It doesn't take long.
No.
It does not take long. And it's like the longer you go, the better it gets and the more you don't want it.
Yeah. So we're late as usual. We always have so much to talk about. I don't want to not bring up the GLP-1 boosters. I want us to talk about this all next week, if not 2 weeks. It's a big deal, but we're going to definitely talk about it.
I am so interested in this. I cannot wait.
So it's laying heavy on my heart right now, y'all. It is laying so heavy on my heart how many young people are turning to these GLP-1 agonists drugs.
Explain to people what GLP-1 is.
So GLP-1 is a hormone that we naturally have in our body. A lot of people don't realize that. That manages blood sugar, it manages cravings, it manages our appetite. And so all of these drugs that are out there now, the Ozempic, Wegovy, Trulicity, all this stuff, all these things that have these cute commercials that make you think that you're joining a really cool club when you get into them, that just makes me want to puke. Are these big drugs that are becoming very popular right now.
To me, they're pushed as a quick fix.
There's
Quick
so
weight
many
loss, easy, convenient.
There's so many lies surrounding this stuff, y'all. It absolutely turns my stomach. I know young people who I love very much who have turned to this in the name of vanity instead of considering long-term health. And it absolutely guts me. It guts me. The problem is it is seen as a quick fix.
Yeah.
But if you have if the doctors, if the pharmaceutical companies, if the cute commercials are not telling you the truth,
that's right,
then you don't realize what you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
There are so many medical conditions that have arisen out of these things, and they're not that new. So we don't really know what happens when somebody's on these things for 20 years. Because guess what?
Right.
If your doctor has not told you that it's a lifelong drug, they're lying to you.
Yep.
They are lying to you. It is a lifelong drug. It creates a chemical reaction in your body to boost that GLP-1 hormone, that when you stop taking it, that chemical reaction is gone. Yep. And if you have not learned how to eat right, if you have not made the lifestyle changes, if you have not started exercising, if you haven't done all the things, your weight is coming back. In all the clinical trials, 95% of all weight came back in the first year.
Yep.
So they are lying to you if they have you believing that you are just going to take this for 6 months until you get the weight off, and then, you can go about your merry way. It's false. It is fake news.
You have to stay on it to keep the weight off.
It is false.
Yep.
And the studies that show that, a year and a half into it, that the number of people that end up with gastroparesis, let me tell you something, that is nothing anybody wants. I have worked with type 1 diabetics. I have worked with people that young people that have chronic diseases as juveniles and young adults that end up with gastroparesis, and it is devastating. Gastroparesis is when basically your gut shuts down.
Ooh.
Okay. It causes blockages. A lot of these people end up in and out of the hospital having to have surgical interventions on their gut, on their intestines. The number of people on these meds that they are having gastroparesis at a year and a half in is it's devastating. And that is something that it is very hard to get your gut to come back from.
And I bet you the more popular that stuff becomes, the more and more we're going to see of stuff like that. People 100%. Are going to ruin their long-term health over losing weight when all you have to do is just eat real food.
Yeah.
And to get the GLP naturally.
Yeah. Something else that I knew about the thyroid cancer risk. It's like it's either 42 or 45% increase in medullary thyroid cancer.
Wow.
And that is people that are on it for 2 years.
Wow.
They did a study on people who have been on it for 2 years. 42% increase in medullary thyroid cancer. And that is just the cancer increase.
Yep.
What it does to your thyroid long term, you can forget it. If you decide to come off this med, almost across the board, it does so much damage to your thyroid.
Yeah,
you're on thyroid meds.
It'll never be like it was. It'll never work properly again.
Right. But here's the other thing that I was blown away to find out is the massive increase in pancreatitis.
I've seen that. I've seen a couple studies on the pancreatitis.
Massive.
Wow.
And and pancreatic cancer, y'all. If there is a cancer you don't want, not that any of us want any, you don't want pancreatic cancer. The survival rate of pancreatic cancer is the worst, I believe, of all the cancers. It's at least it's up there. It is up there. I mean, you think about all the, and it used to be exclusively a liver, a cancer of alcoholics.
Yeah.
That is not the case anymore.
Not anymore.
It also causes a lot of cardiovascular problems. It causes an increase in lipids in your blood. So then what's going to happen? You end up with horrible lipid levels, which is your cholesterol, your triglycerides, all this stuff. And then you got to go on more medications to fix that. Yep. And statins are something that have horrible side effects. So why do you want to put yourself in that position? So here's the thing, and here's why we're going to talk about this at length next week. Guess what? You can do all kinds of normal things to boost your GLP-1 naturally. And because this is weighed so heavily on my heart, one of my healing pathways in my programs is going to be a GLP-1 booster. Nice. That's going to start the first of the year.
Sign me up.
I'm telling you, it is. And the thing is it's not a whole lot different than what I've been teaching all along. Eat clean, eat high fiber, eat the right amount of protein, eat the good, healthy fats, exercise, get good sleep. There's your GLP-1 booster program.
That's right.
The difference is that there are certain foods that can boost it better than others. So I will make that pathway for people who are either already on it, wanting to come off, because you know what? And let me just take a step back. You're hearing my passion. If you come to me and you say, Wendy, I'm on Wegovy and I need to get off, we can do it. You will get zero judgment from me. I will tell you right now.
No judgment ever.
I told somebody I love very much who took this route. And I said, you know what? When I was 30 and didn't know better, I would have done the same daggone thing. I know
absolutely. We would have been all over it at 30.
I know I would have. Because let me tell you something. All the quick fixes that existed back then, Dexatrim, all the horrible
Fen.
Oh my gosh, you name it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't know a single solitary person that took things like that regularly, that isn't on blood pressure meds now, hasn't gained all their weight back, is, on all kinds of medications for other chronic conditions. You got to do it the right, sustainable way. The last thing I'll say about this, because I know we've gone way over, which, what is over in our world, Wendy?
Hey, we were gone for 2 weeks live.
Right. One thing I will say, because, I get it. The economy is horrible right now. Okay. People don't want to spend money on themselves. Without insurance, Ozempic costs $4,194 a month. If you don't
we can eat really good for that.
Right? With insurance for diabetes, it's $25 a month, which, by the way, let me just do a little side note. I have many people that have come to me not wanting to be on those meds for diabetes, that we've gotten their blood sugar, their hemoglobin A1C, all their markers way down. I have somebody I'm working with right now who came to me 12 weeks ago, and their blood sugar was averaging over 300.
Wow.
And now it's 140. Okay. Nice. So we can do it without medication. But that being said, if you are on it for diabetes, we can also work on getting you off of it.
That's right.
But so you might be getting your insurance covered and it might cost you $25 a month. Most insurance does not cover it for weight loss. But here's your little fun fact. There are these little programs out there that'll, say, $165 a month for 12 months and you get it. And then what happens after that 12 months? Are you going to stop it and be sick? Are you going to gain all your weight back? Or are they going to drop you and say, oh, well, now you're on your own. You did your $165 a month for 12 months. Yeah. You just need it for weight loss. You don't need it for diabetes. Are you going to pay $4,200 a month for it? Or are you just going to gain all your weight back? So,
and how much is your program monthly?
Right now right now, period. There's no sales going on. With the new payment plans we have, as low as $99 a month.
Wow.
And guess what? After 16 weeks, you can do this forever.
That's right. Because you learn by doing during the program.
You will learn how to boost your GLP-1 naturally, not face the cancer risk, not face the pancreatitis, not face all these things, and not gain your weight back.
That's right.
So please, when and through New Year's, anybody that does sign up for my programs, I'm doing what I did last year because I love how many people this was able to help. If you sign up for either a 16-week or a 6-month program, you're getting the rest of the year. I just announced this yesterday to my newsletter folks. You're getting the rest of the year for free of phase 2, which is a 1900.
So next year. So they would do their program and then get the rest of next year.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's depending on what program you do, that leaves you, it's like it's over $1,900 in value.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's huge. So
Yes.
if you are interested in this, if you want me to help you stay off these meds or get off these meds, again, no judgment. I want to help you do it the healthy way. Then I'm going to be able to take care of you for a whole year for the cost of 16 weeks.
That's right.
So check out my website. I do have all the payment options on there if money is tight. I promise you it costs less than Ozempic. So please. And it allows longevity. It costs less in your future medical costs.
You're learning how to take care of yourself by healing yourself with your own food, with your own hands, doing it yourself.
Yes.
That's priceless.
And I've created a health pathway, a healing pathway specifically for you, because I'm telling you, this has gutted me lately. How many people are taking this route because they don't know.
Yes. And, they're trying to make this a normal thing. Instead of an exception, these drugs, they're trying to make it normal for everyone to be able to have access to it. And
they're trying to get it.
I don't trust them because I feel like it's leading everyone to a place to need pharma more.
That's their goal.
I think we rely on them too much now. And
why do you think they allow things like this for teenagers? I'm sorry.
Because they're creating lifelong customers. That's why.
Yep. They now allow this for teenagers. They are trying to get it pushed through. I am praying that is going to be, I know it will be a big initiative of RFK and of the MAHA movement, but they're trying to get it approved for as early as age 6. And some people are even saying as early as age 3.
Oh,
I am
goodness.
sorry.
Oh. That hurts my heart.
You cannot do that to these babies.
No. I had heard 8. I'm like, I'm just shocked by anything. I mean, 8's young. 8's too young because that's the age of playing outside all the time. Anything. These kids, that's what it is. They don't have recess at school anymore. They're not getting out. They need to get out. They need to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it hurts my heart.
And they need to stop eating the processed foods.
Yeah, all the junk.
It's terrible stuff. And I'll tell you, this is the last thing I'll talk about it, and then we'll continue this next week. Bless my son-in-law's heart. He's so good. And he does they both do the grocery shopping, but every Saturday, him and my granddaughter have their date at the grocery store, and they go do grocery shopping, and the bakery there gives the little kids free cookie and all this stuff. So, it's like a big date day for daddy-daughter. Well, he picked up it was Mott's brand applesauce because it said sugar-free. Girl, I thought I was going to.
And applesauce is so stinking easy to make.
Well, it is. And they actually had some that I had made when I was there last. But they like those little pouches for the kids. You know what I mean? But get this.
The squirt pouches.
Yeah. Get this. So the one that my daughter and him had been using is it Gojo?
Yeah. The green pack.
Yes.
My grands love them.
So
they're so awful.
Only thing that's in them is apples. So,
okay. On the green pack. Yeah.
So I was okay with that.
Right.
So I happened to flip over the Mott's, the sugar-free. It's got flipping high fructose corn syrup, and I'm looking at my 15-month-old sucking this stuff down. Kyle didn't know any better. I mean,
Oh, wow.
God bless him. He does a good job of looking. He was duped like so many other
He
people. And
saw
he's,
sugar-free and automatically assumed it was good.
yes. And how can
Wow.
they get away with calling it sugar-free and yet put high fructose corn syrup in it?
I don't know how they get it. I don't know how they're able to do that.
I was so disgusted. So, of
That's
course,
disgusting.
they've switched back, but
Yeah.
I could not believe it. So, read these labels for what you're feeding these precious babies. It's awful. So
I think paying attention to the labels really changes things quickly.
Oh,
because I've gotten to the point where if I can't say it, I'm not buying it.
You know what Dr. Hyman says that I love his attitude on this, and I never have explained it this way, and this is my new favorite thing to say. If you can't have that ingredient on your pantry shelf, then it doesn't exist in nature and you need to put it back.
Exactly.
If you see maltodextrin, if you see, some crazy chemical name, you're not keeping it in your pantry. That is an ingredient that you are not going to purchase. Yes, I know.
It really angers me to see maltodextrin being put in a lot of stuff that never had it before.
No, and we never needed it. It's addictive. It's addictive. That's why they want you to have it. It's horrible. So anyway, yes, read ingredients, stay away from the added sugars as much as possible. This time of year, I'm not going to be a buzzkill. Have your sweet treats,
But there's alternative sweet treats.
Yeah.
You don't have to go, eating cups of sugar.
No. Matter of fact, anybody who's on my newsletter, I sent out 8 recipes yesterday for sugar-free that don't require even monk fruit. Sugar-free treats that you can make and keep on hand this time of year so that you have something. And I mean, they're tasty.
Yeah.
They're good.
You don't have to feel left out.
No.
You've got your own. That way you're not getting the flu and you're not getting sick. So
That's right. So next week we're going to cover more with the GLP-1 agonists. We're going to
talk about green tea differences next week.
Yeah, let's do that. And if anybody has anything else, let me know if any of you all listen or are on LinkedIn, because I'm thinking I'm not going to even waste my time, but I could be wrong. I went on LinkedIn because that is another avenue that through our StreamYard platform that we use for our podcast that will allow us to automatically live stream like we do currently to Facebook, YouTube, and X. And it requires me to have 150 followers, which I'm sure I could go on and get a bunch of fake followers, but that's not my intent, But I've never spent any time on LinkedIn. So I just want to hear from our listeners.
Yeah, let us know.
Anybody use LinkedIn, and is it worth anything to me as somebody who's not looking for a job, who's not looking to hire anybody right now? Anything?
That's the only time I've ever used it.
Yeah,
when I was looking for a job years ago.
So just let me know. If it does seem valuable, I will certainly do it. I'll put the energy into it that I need to, but I'm feeling like that one isn't quite as necessary. So what you up to this week, girl?
I'm just getting ready for the holidays. I did finally get my smoked turkey broth done.
Ooh, it's so beautiful.
And I actually gave a bunch of these as gifts.
Oh, good.
Yeah, for the season to keep people's, immune systems up, so they're having something good. And let's see, what else am I up to? Oh, I made this tea for a client who's having blood pressure issues even after eating right and on meds.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna try some tea twice a day and see how that affects things.
Nice.
So it's a hibiscus, cinnamon, rose, lemon balm. So it's a simple tea, but a sweet tea, twangy, but a little earthy too.
Nice.
I like it. The Ceylon cinnamon really gives it a little bite to it.
Awesome.
It's really good. Other than that, I'm just getting ready for the holidays, and I'm going to research this green tea differences because I bought some whole leaf green tea, and I was blown away when I was going to buy it because there was like 7 different names of whole leaf green tea. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So then Wendy informed me that there's like 1,500 different green teas.
I had to Google it. I was like, I wonder how many there are total. And it says 1,500 varieties. I guarantee you I've never seen anywhere close to that. So 7's a lot closer.
I am going to do research on the differences between the green teas because I had no idea. And I'll probably pick like 3 popular or 4 popular ones, depending on what I find. I'm definitely not going to be researching 1,500.
No, definitely.
But I'm looking forward to time with my family. I'm looking forward to the excitement of the grandbabies because they're all 4 and under, and super excited for Christmas and Santa and all the things. So yeah, that's it. How about you?
Well, my hubby surprised me with a weekend to a bed and breakfast that we went to years ago when we first started dating, and he booked it for us where it's all decorated for Christmas and all that. So
are y'all going this weekend?
Yeah, we don't have
okay, I'm gonna have him have a conversation with Rick.
I thought it was very sweet because
it is very sweet,
and he knows I'd so much rather have experiences than things, and so I was very excited that he came up with it all on his own.
I know, absolutely. That's why I said he needs to have a conversation with Rick.
Yeah, so we're doing that.
Way to go, Bill.
Yeah, and then have a couple of other gatherings for the holidays. We will have Jacob the day after Thanksgiving, the day after Christmas through the New Year, and so we'll be doing stuff with him then. But other than that, I'm gearing up because this is always a very busy time for people who are, ready for the new year, new me. And I want to encourage people that this is
your where they can find you, Wendy, for your programs and stuff to get started.
Yeah, I'm certainly you can find me on X and on Facebook. You can message me there, or you can go to www.freedomholisticwellness.com. The Transform page has all of our programs. You can email me at wendy@freedomholisticwellness.com. If you would like to discuss which program you think would be best for you, let me know. And I'm happy to set up a 30-minute consult with you. But I plan on meeting with a lot of people between now and next week because this tends to be a big boosting time. And I love to tell people that when they do this will be your last year having to make this as a New Year's resolution.
That's right.
What a powerful thing when you make that decision that this is my last, I'm going to get healthier New Year's resolution that I'm ever going to have to make, because
it makes room for you to move on to bigger, better things.
Man, does it ever, yes. It really has. It's opened up so many more doors for me where I can focus more on my spiritual healing, where I can, my relationship with God, with my business, with, family involvement, because I'm not constantly thinking, oh gosh, I got to lose weight, or I've got to worry about my health. And
exactly.
It's such a blessing having that checked off your list forever, that's exactly what happens when you do one of my programs. So I am working with a lot of people between now and next week to decide which direction is best for them, and happy to do that for everybody. But the next time we see everybody, it'll be the day after Christmas. So I hope everybody.
Very Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yes, have a very Merry Christmas. Wendy and I are both exploring some of the other festivals. I think we've mentioned it before.
Festivals of the Bible.
Yeah, things that Jesus celebrated that typically as Christians we don't celebrate. So I actually have ordered a menorah. I'm doing the Festival of Lights at our home during Hanukkah. I'm gonna actually celebrate the 12 days of Christmas, which that part Jesus obviously didn't celebrate because he is Christmas. But traditionally in a lot of churches, they started day 1 on Christmas Day and go through January 5th. So gonna do that. Going to plan on doing some things for Epiphany. So anyway, it should be a neat very Christ-focused experience over the next few weeks. I'm excited about that.
When you go down the rabbit hole of the festivals of the Bible, it's kind of mind-blowing too.
It is. It is.
How far we've gotten away from all of that.
Yeah. It's like you don't have to make it legalistic, and you
Right.
don't have to feel like you have to do everything, because that's why he came.
Right.
We got away from needing to do these things. We don't have to do any of this stuff for our salvation. He's done it all. But what a great way to be refocused. There's my word, focus. To be refocused and back on Christ. That's
right.
what all the festivals were put in place, to make everybody stop and focus on God.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's something we all need more today than ever.
Never before. Absolutely.
So I'm excited to start to kind of weave in some of these things into our own traditions slowly. And again, not legalistically, we're going to play around with some things and see.
Evolve and change, right? Yeah. And how do you ever know unless you try different things?
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
we're starting with Hanukkah.
That's right.
All right. Well, you guys have a very, very Merry Christmas. We will see you all next Thursday instead of Wednesday, so that Wendy and I can celebrate the holiday and yet come to you all live next week also. So
that's right.
God bless you all.
Yes.
May you experience the peace and joy of Christ this season. And we love you so much.
We do. Appreciate every one of you.